Coming up, a volunteer in Tainan receives his Tzu Cheng Commissioner certification posthumously. A Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital doctor receives an award recognizing his research on bacteriophages. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Lee-Shioda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in Taiwan. Tainan Tzu Chi volunteer Tzu Cheng fell on hard times 5 years ago when his business failed. Single, he had no place to live and ended up seeking shelter at a cemetery. Through the guidance of Tzu Chi volunteers, Zheng was able to turn his life around. He was even in training to become a Tzu Chi volunteer. However, right before the certification ceremony was to take place, he fell ill and passed away. Here's a look back on his life. Walking with difficulty, Tzu Cheng had a stroke, but he still puts his effort into sorting recyclables. 5 years ago, before he met Tzu Chi, he had fallen on hard times.
I slept at the cemetery and a brother came to ask if I was interested in a non-paying job. I said sure.
Tzu Chi volunteer Guo Zhongxing invited him to do recycling and also referred him to the Social Welfare Department of Tzu Chi to receive help from the volunteers. As it turns out, Zheng's business had failed, and as a single person, he just let himself go. It was through Tzu Chi's loving care that he was able to regroup and find the confidence to give back to society.
I try to do as much as I can to help others. It's my contribution.
Not only donating money, Zheng also takes care of the flowers at the Tainan Jinsa Hall each morning. He also joined in Tzu Chi volunteer training to rid of his heart of impurities.
He spoke very loud and often criticized others. After he joined the training, he often shows his gratitude.
Right before the certification ceremony on the morning of November 4th, he suddenly fell ill from chest pains and passed away. At the age of 50, he was doing Tzu Chi in his last few moments. Giving him a final farewell, his counterparts helped pin his Tzu Cheng Commissioner badge on his suit and wish him well as they hope he returns to the Tzu Chi path once more. Tzu Chi volunteers have long cared for seniors in their communities. Recently, volunteers in Kaohsiung made a visit to a nursing home to bring some laughter and joy to the residents. During the event, volunteers played games as well as sing songs for the seniors to enjoy.
Here in Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi volunteers are at a nursing home to entertain seniors for the day. To help the residents move their bodies a bit, volunteers sung a sign language song. To interact with the seniors, volunteers also played a game of catch with them using an inflatable ball and a laundry basket.
We're not only bringing joy, but we're having a great time here. Are you guys enjoying yourselves? Shall we come back again?
We are here to send blessings and have a great time with everyone. The main thing is to keep our mental and physical health in a good condition.
I normally do recycling. Yes, while sorting recyclables, I leave my worries behind.
This is Mrs. Yang, who is 87 years old. She's here as a volunteer. Together, she and the other 27 volunteers bring some laughter and joy to an otherwise sedated care home.
A new long-term care plan 2.0 for seniors suffering from Alzheimer's has been introduced in Taipei. It is designed to help seniors who show early signs of the disease, focusing on early preventative measures and regular interactions between the community and medical professionals. For seniors over 50, the new program is there to diagnose possible early symptoms and encourage healthy activities to slow the onset of later stages.
Mr. Zheng, who is singing a Japanese song, was a financial expert when he was younger, but with gradual memory loss, he was unable to avoid the onset of Alzheimer's. A patient like him would previously have received care only in the later stages of the condition, when he would need help just walking and eating. However, with the implementation of the 2.0 program, people in the early stages of Alzheimer's who are over 50 years old can receive help early on to offset the later stages.
The 2.0 level of care emphasizes preventative care. The idea is not to wait until they are totally disabled and need intensive daily care. In this early stage, we want to give them a little assistance here and there to make their life a little more comfortable. The longer we can do this, the better.
Previously, the 1.0 program offered assistance and home care for patients in the later stages of dementia. However, many of the caretakers had to deal with extreme situations and episodes of patients with more severe conditions. Now, the 2.0 program aims to help patients in the early to mid stages as well, to hopefully delay and soften the later developments of the condition.
For patients with dementia, it is good to have home assistance, and the 2.0 level of care is quite high. These programs help these patients and families step by step with A, B, and C stages. The aim is to reach out and help at the street level in every community.
The program begins with the A stage in Taipei's Wanhua district with the help of the Lee-Shioda Foundation, where they offer the 2.0 care in 17 different cases. Then, based on the needs of those seniors, they may be referred to the B level for more specific types of care, with members of the Taiwan Alzheimer's Disease Association. Lastly, if they are at a stage that requires help feeding and constant care, they will move to the C level. C level is just general caretaking with less need for attention from medical professionals.
In the early to mid stages of care, the patient should see the doctor more regularly while they can still slow the onset, because once they reach the later stages, they will need constant care. That's what we are concerned about. That's why this 2.0 program is important to form a bridge between the doctors and the community.
The 2.0 care program emphasizes preventative care and assistance in the aging process. However, different individuals suffering from dementia may require many differing levels and styles of care. Meeting the different needs will be an important test for the 2.0 program.
40-year-old Tzu Cheng in Tainan once had a steady job. 10 years ago, his mother had a stroke, and after talking to his older brother and sister, he quit his job to look after her. It also made him realize the hardship his mother endured to raise him. 2 years ago, his father also became ill, requiring his care. Despite this heavy burden, he doesn't complain and instead becomes involved with keeping the environment clean to earn merit for his parents.
Mr. Zheng says bye to his father and then closes the door. Then he goes to look after his mother. He cleans his mother as gentle as a baby. He is now 40 years old, and it took him a while to become good at it.
My elder sister and elder brother pay for our living, and I care for them. If I don't know anything, I'll ask doctors, nurses, or therapists. Then I will know how to take care of them better.
His mother has been sick for 10 years. She once weighed 40 kilograms, but now she weighs 48, which makes Zheng feel relieved. The work allows him to understand his mother's care for him. He still takes time to volunteer despite his busy schedule.
He said he wanted to create merits for his dad and mom to allow them to be healthy.
After I cleared the area and looked back, I felt quite relieved.
When a place becomes clean, his mind also feels relieved. His only wish now is caring for his parents.
For decades, the world's medical teams have been working on dengue fever vaccines, but since there are 4 types of dengue serotypes and vaccines usually cover only 1 or 2 serotypes, vaccinated people would still be at a risk of vector mosquito bites. In recent years, a French pharmaceutical company developed a vaccine, but testing it in Central and South America proved it less than satisfactory. Meanwhile, Taiwan's National Health Research Institute, along with Addie Moon and National Cheng Kung University, are actively involved in vaccine research and development, hoping to find more effective vaccines.
The main vector mosquito of dengue fever is a yellow fever mosquito, which can affect elderly people who don't even leave the house. Last year's epidemic, for example, killed more than 400 people in Kaohsiung and Tainan, nearly 80% of whom were diabetic.
We found that the amount of the virus was quite high, and their immunity was not very good, as diabetic patients have an immunity deficiency problem.
The virus can come from abroad or be endemic, as it's hard to ward off, as scientists around the world are actively working to develop vaccines. The first step, however, is to uncover the mystery behind the virus.
In the human body, the morphology of the dengue virus is basically similar to the shape of a sunny-side-up egg. We are the first international team to see this phenomenon.
Their goal is to identify all 10,000 genes in the virus and build a 3D model. Though it's still a ways off, National Cheng Kung University has found the virus intrusion mechanism. The dengue virus is transmitted by vector mosquitoes and invades human cells, replicating many times within the cell before eventually rupturing the cell membrane. For this reason, they say this replication process resembles a sunny-side egg.
The dengue virus has a layer that is actually the membrane of our own human cells, so our immune system may consider it to be our own cells, allowing it to escape an attack by our own white blood cells.
With the dengue fever virus disguising itself as a human cell, innumerable human lives have been lost. In 1941, the dengue virus was isolated, with scientists beginning to look for a vaccine. And at the end of last year, a French pharmaceutical company developed Sanofi vaccine, which became the world's only dengue fever vaccine on the market.
This Sanofi vaccine offers an average of 50 to 60% protection against 4 serotypes of dengue fever. But for the second type of dengue fever, protection is very low, at about 30% protection.
The limited effect of this vaccine means that currently only 4 countries in Central and South America used it, but the trial was less than successful.
Sanofi's vaccine can't be used in Taiwan because there weren't clinical trials, so it can't be used on Taiwanese people. So we need to look to another vaccine.
As a result, the National Health Research Institutes have put in great effort to research and develop another vaccine. The dengue virus RNA consists of structural proteins and non-structural proteins. The structural proteins include envelope proteins, which interact with human cells to cause pathogenicity. Researchers cloned this RNA along with the virus's recombinant proteins and injected it into E. coli to reproduce to create this virus-resistant lipid protein.
Non-vaccinated mice will have a very high viral content compared to vaccinated mice, which have almost undetectable virus content.
Dengue fever vaccines developed by the National Institute of Infectious Disease and Vaccinology are still in the preclinical stage and may take 3 years before clinical trials get underway. However, domestic outbreaks over the past few years led local enterprise Adimune to also become involved in research and development. This is Adimune's cell culture machine. When developing a vaccine, staff here culture human cells and then subject it to the dengue virus. After injection with the virus, the cells are analyzed.
If the vaccine only protects against 3 dengue serotypes, you will be unprotected against 1 serotype. And if you are infected by that, you may get dengue hemorrhagic fever or dengue shock syndrome.
Vaccine research treads on thin ice because there are 4 dengue virus serotypes, with chances of cross-infection substantially increasing the complexity of the vaccine.
Previously, dengue virus serotype 2 patients were infected by serotype 1. There would be cross-infection leading to dengue hemorrhagic fever.
Fortunately, international vaccines are making progress, with the U.S. National Institutes of Health developing a vaccine that has entered the 3rd phase of clinical trials and is expected to go on the market in 2 to 3 years.
The vaccine is very good with almost 80 to 90% protection against 4 serotypes, with a very few side effects.
An ounce of prevention is more important than a pound of cure, as the saying goes. Once domestic and foreign vaccines are successfully developed, we can finally stop the spread of dengue fever worldwide. But before that, we still need to implement traditional methods of disease prevention, which include keeping the home environment very clean.
The The northern chapter of TIMA in Taiwan recently made their biannual trip to Jimen Island to hold 2 free clinics for the residents there. This marks the 11th year that TIMA has been holding clinics there, and the residents have come to look forward to and rely on the clinics every year. Let's check out the most recent clinic.
In late November here in Jimen, the weather is humid and cold, but the air is warm inside the clinic.
No more.
This clinic has been hosted by 95 members of TIMA's Northern Taiwan chapter. They have come all the way to Jimen to offer free clinics for the Qingqi and Dongling communities.
手是安怎？手拔要举对咱手咱3个人救啊！系哦，医生有甲你讲安怎无？有爱甲针，甲伊针哦，摕药，系哦。还更针啊！
This is the 11th year that Tzu Chi has been holding regular free clinics in Jimen, holding 2 clinics every year for 2 days each. After a decade of service, Tzu Chi has developed a good reputation with the local residents.
Recently, I've twisted my leg a bit, and the small hospital here in Jimen doesn't have an orthopedic department. So when I heard Tzu Chi was coming, I wanted to talk with your doctors. I have a bit more confidence in Tzu Chi.
We are really happy to welcome Tzu Chi here, and we are grateful to have you come. Today, I speak on behalf of the residents living here. We want to say thank you so much to our good friends with TIMA. They really have shown so much care helping people take care of their health. Thank you so much.
It was once a war-torn region, but today the island is quiet. The elderly generation remembers the past very well, and they know that Tzu Chi is an organization they can depend on.
Next, we will visit an awards ceremony held by the magazine Manager Today that takes place every year in Taipei, where business leaders and professionals from many different fields and industries are recognized for their positive contributions to society. It is known as the 100 MVPs of Business Awards ceremony. One person recognized for their efforts was a doctor from Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital who has spent his life researching bacteriophages. 2 super MVPs were also recognized, one for their contribution to senior care and the other for a new approach to agricultural waste treatment.
陈主任是我们台湾超级细菌体研究的第一把交椅。
This is an annual award ceremony for business leaders and innovative professionals in Taiwan. One winner was a doctor from Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital who has worked over 20 years studying bacteriophages and how they might be used to benefit people by cleaning environments or eliminating certain harmful diseases.
Actually, bacteriophages kill many kinds of bacteria naturally. It's just a law of nature. Like the master often says, we should let nature act on its own behalf. We should use this natural capacity of the bacteriophages in the sewage or polluted water and use them in a manner beneficial to people. We can use them to clean up the environment.
Also at the ceremony were 2 Super MVP awards. One was given to Lin Jin Li for his work in helping to introduce the Japanese model of caretaking to Taiwan, which encourages independence on the part of the elderly. Another Super MVP award recipient was Lin Yong Hao for his work in agriculture waste treatment and developing new options for farmers.
I think about 60% of the elderly in their daily lives can all use a bit of support. The relationship between a caretaker and the senior should be one that is mutually supportive.
With these products and these things they contain, we can find a new value in their use. This is going to assist with sustainable development and will be important for several environmental issues, so they are drawing a lot of attention from international manufacturers.
This ceremony was able to showcase 100 innovative leaders from many different professions, who all have the same goal of improving society for the better with creative thinking and a dedicated spirit.
Taipei leads all other cities in Taiwan by setting up the first Maker Education Demonstration Center to encourage students to take the lead in learning new things. The center hopes this will spark students' imagination to find solutions to problems and engage in experimentation.
These siblings are introducing an auto-sensor air purifier they invented. After only 1 year, they have come up to the 6th generation of this machine.
Because both of us have allergies, we felt it was troublesome to get up and turn it on, and we didn't know when to turn it off. It could waste a lot of energy.
所以他只要跌倒就可以侦测到他是跌倒吗？
If you think you will be able to find a solution to your daily problem, this is the spirit of the Maker Movement. The Ministry of Education gave funds to schools in 13 counties and cities across Taiwan, and the Lee-Shioda Elementary School in Taipei set up the first Maker Education Demonstration Center in Taiwan.
就是要将这些 maker 的概念
We want to involve the concepts of the maker movement into our curricula, so our children can learn to use these materials for creativity and solving problems.
创新跟解决问题，
然后去把它的整个脉络从
We will establish a complete context from elementary school all the way to middle school and high school. Then, whatever the students will learn will not become burdens outside their regular school curriculum.
本的课程之外的另外一个负担。
These two fourth graders are also makers. In the past 72 hours, they learned software and then used the laser to cut miniature streets and buildings. After they finished, they have higher expectations for themselves.
We hope to make it bigger, more realistic. We will try to draw them in the future instead of copying drawings from the internet.
With science as the base, the center wants to provide a perfect platform for the students to realize the imagination in their heads. Someday, great scientists will come from here.
制造教育示范中心。
In our next report, we'll check out an independent film festival hosted annually by Tzu Chi's media volunteers in Taipei. At this year's event, a short film about a burn survivor and tennis player was voted as the best and most inspiring entry. Thanks to organizers from 3 areas in New Taipei City, this year's event also employed the use of line groups to help with setting up the event as well as audience voting.
Here at the 19th exhibition of independent films hosted by Tzu Chi media volunteers in Taipei, Taiwan, this film about a burn survivor was voted unanimously as the most inspiring film of the day.
Her story is very meaningful. I think that this is the reason it is so popular with everyone.
Volunteers from 3 New Taipei City areas worked together to organize the event here at the Luzhou Jingsi Hall. In order to share the scene, all of the audience members have joined a chat group where they can share their feelings after watching the film.
We want to be able to share with everyone at the site, but calling out and raising our hands can be difficult. With a line group, we can watch the video and share our feelings with everyone. We also thought if the responses were projected, others can see it too.
Trophies, as well as music with thank you speeches, were there to give the recipients a strong sense of accomplishment.
I'm so moved that one person's story can be conveyed and influence so many other people.
Observing the films of others helps us learn about different styles, no matter whether it is exceptional or has some shortcomings. We can all still learn from what others have done and experienced.
In addition to the Best Film Award, there were also 5 other award-winning films. All the volunteers at the event who participated in the vote on the films were happy to be able to witness a community come together for such an activity.
In Kaohsiung, a group of disabled people formed a ukulele band to show the world that though they are disadvantaged, they are still well enough to be independent and bring joy to others. Together, everyone visited a care center to perform and entertain the residents. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.